Ya etam devam ekabritam veda ya sarvasmai vipashyati yaccha pranani yachana tamidam nigatam saha sa isha eka ekabrid eka eva sarve asmin deva ekabrito bhavanti. The message of one. So all that we do, ultimately it goes to only one. So this is the message of one. Atharva Veda speaks. As Dr. Deepak Bakhane in introduction, he was talking about the Bheema, Nakula and Sahadeva. These are the all wonderful characters in the Mahabharata, and we will end maybe in the next with the three queens. Now, let us just touch the biography of Nakula and Sahadeva. They don't have anything much bigger. So, Madri, the second wife of King Pandu, she also wanted to become mother, and she requested the king to ask Kunti to teach her the secret mantra by which she can get the blessings of God. Kunti was already having three sons, so Yudhishthira, the Bheema and Arjuna. So naturally the Madri, she wanted to have at least two sons, because she was having, other one was having three, and she was clever enough. But only one time she could pray. So that is the reason she prayed to Ashwini Kumar Daya. Ashwini Kumar, they are the doctors, they are the twin brothers, they are doctors of gods. So with their blessings, Madri got two sons, the twin, that is Nakula and Sahadeva. And this Nakula and Sahadeva, they were really, really good boys. And it says, like Nakula, there was no one so handsome. In the male folk in those days, Nakula was the most handsome, just like his father. And Draupadi and Nakula, as you know that Draupadi was the wife of all the five brothers. So Nakula and Draupadi, they had a son, his name is Shatanik. Shatanik. And Nakula had a second wife, and she was the Shishupala's daughter, Karenumati. Shishupala was a very famous king. We know that he was not accepting Krishna, so he was killed. And the Shishupala, his daughter Karunumati was the second wife of Nakula. And at the time of Rajashua Yajna, when the Indraprastha was given to them, and they settled over there, the Pandavas, then they wanted to have some wealth. And in those days the system was, you have to go and you have to challenge the neighbor kings, and if they think that it will be difficult for them to fight with you, they used to give you some wealth as a tax. And they used to say like that, that is, it was a Rajashua Yajna. That was a sort of a yajna, but it's a fundraising. The fundraising type of thing, but not like ours. So they used to go and challenge, you give me some fund or I am going to kill you or fight with you. thinking that why unnecessarily wasting time, so they used to give some money. So that way they used to give that. Nakula, he went to the western side. All the other brothers, except the Yudhishthira, Arjuna, Bheema, Nakula, Sahadeva, all they went out to collect fund. Arjuna was the maximum. So, but then afterwards the Bheema also from the eastern side. Nakula went to west and he conquered some. And when the Draupadi was insulted in the court, Nakula promised that I am going to kill many of the these people, Kaurava. When they were going out for in the 12 years to inside the jungle, he used to put all over his body ashes and dust, as because he was so attractive, so good looking, he was afraid that the other wherever he will go, maybe that the ladies will be attracted to him. That will create problem. To make a very low profile, he used to all the time paint his body, covered his body with the dust and sand like that. When they were in exile, 1 year as per the condition, in incognito, they were living. At that time, his name was Granthik. And when they used to ask, what do you know? He used to say, that I can understand all the character of the horse. In those days, horse, cows, that was very, very important. So he was employed by the Birata as a Granthik, and he used to say, I was in the court of Dharmaraja, that means Yudhishthira, I used to look after the horses. So naturally, there's a good certificate, and he got the job over there. And after the war, when the Yudhishthira, he was thinking that he will give up everything and go to jungle. This is Nakula said, Yudhishthira, it is of no use thinking about the dead people. Oh brother, now you better think about the people who are living, and you are a Kshatriya. You have not done anything wrong. So Nakul, when he fell, you all know that all the brothers with their wife, they were all going to, on the last day, to the Swarga, the heaven. One after another they were falling. The first Draupadi, and second that Nakula. Then why Nakula? The Bheema asked this question to our Dharmaputra, Yudhishthira. So why Nakula fell? Then answer was, he was very proud of his beauty. So that is the reason he had to. Nakula's brother was Sahadeva. And this Sahadeva and Draupadi, they had a son, his name was Srutakarma. Srutakarma. Sahadeva was having another 2 wives. One was Madraraj daughter Vijaya. Madraraj, we know again and again this name came in the Mahabharata, even in the Bhagavad Gita. He was a very powerful king, and his daughter was, he gave in marriage to the Sahadeva, and her name was Vijaya. Again, this is very interesting. Jarasandha, who was an enemy to the Pandava, Krishna, the Jarasandha's daughter was also married to him, this Sahadeva. Sahadeva, they used to say, he was a very knowledgeable person, particularly about the spirituality, religion. So that's why he had a separate type of respect in those days. And the Jarasandha's daughter married to the Sahadeva, and at the time of Rajasuya Yajna, when all brothers were going out, Sahadeva went to the south and conquered some countries, some states, and collected some fund. Sahadeva, though he was not like Arjuna or Bheema, but very, very courageous person. When the Bhishma requested the Sahadeva to give the first flower to Krishna, so we have to understand that the situation, Krishna was born Kshatriya, but he was brought up as a not Kshatriya, the Yadava clan. Not that way very respectful. So the Kshatriyas, the real Kshatriya class, was not accepting Krishna. But the personalities like Bhishma, Vidura, Sanjaya, they could see Krishna is not an ordinary person, is God himself, in the garb of a human being. Because of their good deeds, they could understand Krishna in reality. So when the yajna was, and that was the system, in the yajna you have to choose the best person. By giving the first flower to him, then all the kings who will be coming, you can greet them. Yudhishthira asked Bhishma, whom I will give? Because all the kings are sitting over there, each and every one thinks that they are the best, and they are expecting the flower from me. If I don't give, there will be enmity. What to do? The Bhishma, without hesitation, told, give that flower to Krishna. In every way, if you judge, Krishna is the best. So you can give it to Krishna. So that duty was given to Sahadeva, and he took that and gave it to him. The moment he gave that, immediately the first person who protested was Shishupala. And Shishupala vehemently protested and said, you have to judge first, and then only you can give the flower. Without having any judgment, you have to go on telling what are the qualities this man is having, so I am choosing him as the best person. I cannot accept him as the best person in this gathering. Tell about him, what he has done. Comparing with the Shishupala and others, Krishna really was not having much. Rather, he had to accept the defeat in the hands of Jarasandha, the king of the Patna, the Magadha, and obviously Krishna had to leave, and from there, and they all went to the Gujarat. So from the UP, that is Vrindavan, Mathura, particularly Mathura, he went to Gujarat because of the fear of the Jarasandha, and now this man, how can you choose him? So he was the protesting Shishupala and his followers. Now this Sahadeva, he declared over there, he never said, as because the Bhishma asked me to do it and the Yudhishthira asked me to do it, so I have done. No, not like that. This is the courage of this Sahadeva. He said, I have given this flower. Now, if anybody has any doubt, I challenge him. Come over here. And in those days, to say as a word of insult that I don't care about you, that's to say, I put my feet on your head. So that was the terminology. Many times in the Mahabharata we find this. Even the Bhishma also said like that. Nowadays it is, we hear, oh my God, why they should talk like that. But that was the system. Like at the time of Sri Ramakrishna in Bengal, the system was, I like to humiliate someone. They used to say, I will go and I will hold his ear. So that was the way they used to express. Here, this Sahadeva, he was the junior most, and he said, I am going to put my feet on his head, whoever will challenge. Even the Shishupala also didn't say anything. Not only that, all around, the kings who were sitting over there, they all appreciated because he said in so that way. And he said, Krishna is the teacher, Acharya, and Krishna is the Guru, and there is no compare with the Krishna. If anybody is objecting it, I am going to fight with him. And the lot of holy people, they were sitting in that, they appreciated him. The Sahadeva, he was very intelligent, he was very honest and tremendously courageous. And when in that the game of dice, ultimately Yudhishthira, he had to give up everything. He was defeated again and again. Then these people, they were telling in a different way, particularly humiliating them, that from now onwards you will be, all of you will be our slaves. And they were insulting the Draupadi again and again. Then like the Bheema, only Bheema promised, we will come to that. Sahadeva also promised. When the Shakuni, he was jumping in great joy, Sahadeva went and said, with the attention, taking the attention of the all people, this man is the main culprit, and because of him only all these things. With Shakuni, we know the story. First thing I am going to do, if there is war, I am going to kill this man. Shakuni was their maternal uncle, but even then and he did. Whatever promise he made, he really did. The Sahadeva, apparently he was very calm, quiet, composed, and very, very humble to all his brothers, as because he was the junior most. And Kunti used to like him very much, because he was the most junior. The Kunti even wanted to keep him. When all the brothers were going to the jungle, then the Sahadeva told, Mother, I cannot stay back. That will be an insult to our leader, the Yudhishthira, because he has promised all the 5 brothers and the Draupadi, all of us will go out. We will go out. So I cannot stay back with you. So with all these things, we can understand this man was very, very as a strong character. Whatever was good and righteous, he always followed that. And his name at the time of incognito, the 1 year they were living in the Birata, his name was Tantipala. The Tanti means the rope by which they used to tie the cows. So Tantipala means as if he was the keeper of cows. But the Tanti means buck. Tanti, T-A-N-T-I, Tanti means buck, that means knowledge. So he was a very knowledgeable person, and he could understand by seeing a cow what problem the cow is having. So that his brother was very expert in the horses and he was expert in cows. So that way they were there, but Sahadeva was not a fighter. So anyway, he kept his promise. That promise is by killing 2 persons. One, the son of Shakuni, he also came and challenged Sahadeva. Then Sahadeva told, I am promising now, when the war will come, first I will kill you before your father, and then I will kill your father. And he kept that promise. Shakuni was also a very good fighter. He thought Sahadeva won't be able to kill him. But Sahadeva that day, he showed his real mental, how to fight with. And he killed that. But otherwise, he was very, very quiet type. And he went to Kunti, and when he saw that Kunti is living in a hard, in a very humble way, Kunti was preparing herself to give up the body. That was the norms in those days, system. So he told, no. Sahadeva went over there and told, I will serve you and stay here over here. Then the Kunti told, no, if you stay over here, I will be disturbed because my tapasya, my austerity will be disturbed. I cannot. Sahadeva also fell down before reaching the gate of heaven. On way to that, and Yudhishthira was leading, and followed by a dog, then the Bheema, then Arjuna, then Nakula, Sahadeva, and finally Draupadi. Draupadi, Nakula, Sahadeva, they fell. And the Bheema asked his brother, what was the defect in Sahadeva? Then the Yudhishthira said, he was mentally inside proud about his knowledge. He was a very knowledgeable person. Even sometimes he used to correct Yudhishthira. He used to guide Yudhishthira also about the religion. So inside he was having that proud. Because of that he failed. So from these two characters we can understand how things happen. They were good people, but at the same time, because of the ego. This ego actually is the bond of everything. That's why Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna in the modern days, he said in Bengali, Ami mole ghuchibe janjal. Janjal means the all problem will be solved if you can remove the I, Ami, I. This ego. Now the Bheema, he was, as per the request of the king Pandu, Queen Kunti prayed to god Vayu, Vayu Devata, for his son, and Bheema was born. The wise men of the Satasringa mountain where they were living, where he was born, came and checked that baby, and they declared that, after seeing his feature, Sarvesham Balinam Sreshto Jato Ayamiti Bharata. In the whole Bharata, Bharatvarsha, at that time, it was a huge country, up to this Middle East, down to all the southern, eastern, the countries, the islands, all that was under the Bharata. In that whole Bharatvarsha, this man, the boy, will be the most powerful person. Sarvesham Balinam Sreshta. Bali means Balashali. Bali means the powerful. Of all the powerful people, this boy will be the most powerful. In those days, there were truly very, very powerful people were there. Physically, they were really very, very strong. They could fight with elephants, they could fight with the lions, but they were really very strong. Among those people, they say the Bheema was the best. And afterwards it says, this boy, the newborn baby, after the birth, accidentally fell from the hands of his mother on a big stone. The mother screamed, all others came running, but they saw the stone broke into pieces, but the baby was having nothing, no problem with the baby. He was so strong, this Bheema. After seeing that, the father, King Pandu, kept his name Bheema Shena. Bheema means heavy. Bheema means big. Bheema means all that is very strong. That is Bheema. He was so heavy. So that's why he fell and broke the stone itself. So his father was very happy. He gave the name Bheema. And then young Bheema used to eat a lot, as our doctor was mentioning, and that's why the people used to call him as Briko Udara. Udara means the belly, and Briko. Briko means constantly it can fill up. So Briko Udara is a symbol of good health. A person who can really eat and can digest is a symbol of good health. So Bheema was really powerful. Whatever food the Kunti used to prepare for all these 5 boys, half of that she used to give only to Bheema. And the balance half she used to distribute among other 4 boys. So it says in the Adi Parva, Ardham te bhunjata veeraha sahomatra parantapaha ardham bhaikshasya sarvasya bhimo bhunkte mahabalaha. Ardham, the half of the total food, all the other 4, they were also parantapaha, they were also very strong, they are also heroes. Even then, whatever they used to eat, you can imagine, they not like the modern people, the small little thing they are taking, not like that. They used to take, other 4 brothers, they also used to take good amount of food, but that was half only. And the balance half only Bheema. The ardham bhakshasya sarvasya bhimo bhunkte mahabala. After the death of his father, after the 17 days, the king Pandu's death, Bheema reached the capital, Hastinapura, along with his mother and other brothers. And that time Bheema's age was 15 years. So we can understand the Bheema, then the Nakula, Sahadeva, Arjuna. So that was a long period. He was 15 years young man when he came to Hastinapura. And after coming over here, they came to know the Bheema and the Duryodhana, they were born in the same day. And they were from the beginning the rivals, but they were born in the same day. But the speciality is Bheema was born in daytime. And the moment the Bheema was born, to celebrate that new birth, all the rishis, they came and assembled over there. Odd good omens, the good weather and everything was all right, so that was there. But the Duryodhana was born in a night which was raining heavily with the thunderbolt and all the bad omens they could find. Like the jackals in thousands, they were howling together. And all the animals, they were running hither and thither out of tremendous fear. And then the crows and that type of birds, they were flying in thousands, all the bad omens after the birth of the Duryodhana. But both of them, they were born in the same day, and both of them, they were 15 years old when they met each other. And from the first day itself, this Duryodhana understood, this is my enemy, I have to kill him. So he decided not to kill Arjuna or any other brothers. He understood Duryodhana at the age of 15, the first day when he met, immediately he planned with his brother that we will keep prison other brothers, particularly Arjuna and Yudhishthira, but we have to kill Bheema. Keeping him alive will be dangerous for us. And 100 sons of Dhritarashtra and 5 sons of Pandu, they were growing up together. Kripacharya was teaching them what was all the prince, archery and practice of arms and other things befitting to the prince. Bhishma, Dronacharya, Kripacharya, all were very vigilant about their education. Bheema and Arjuna were always excelling in any knowledge. Duryodhana developed deep hatred for Bheema from his childhood, and he was cunning and cruel even in boyhood. Duryodhana. Once in a picnic on the bank of Ganga in a place called Pramanakoti, they were all in Delhi, and near to Delhi is Jamuna. So Ganga means they came down to the eastern side, eastern part, or they went up to the northern So naturally it was not very close. The Pramana Koti, they all went to that on the bank of Ganga, and there they were having a picnic and they were swimming and all that. After doing all this practice of games and swimming, Bheema became very hungry. They knew that Bheema will be hungry. They poisoned the food of Bheema and gave him the first food, the poisoned food, to kill him. They were only hardly 16, 17 years old. So obviously Bheema fainted. Then they tied him with all the creepers because the ropes were not available. And Arjuna, Durjodhana and our Yudhishthira was not nearby. So all alone Bheema, so they tied him and threw him in the water. But good thing happened in this way. Is it working?
I will set it up. You go ahead, I'll quietly do it.
I think if you test over there, and when you are satisfied, you can put it. The two things happened. The moment he fell in the water, his unconsciousness went off and then he became conscious. He was a very good swimmer. Even in that condition, he could float himself. He drank a lot of water, a little salty water, and he vomited all the poison out. And he was almost all right. And he floated in long distance because he knew the moment they can find him over there, they will kill him again. They will try to kill him. So he floated and went to a long distance, and where he got up, that was the land of the Nagas. So from there he went, and the king Basuki found him on the bank of the Ganga. The Basuki, they were the worshippers of the snakes, so they were called themselves Naga. So Nagaraj Basuki. Actually, he was not a snake. They used to worship the snake. Even today, there are many are there. So this king Basuki was very, very strong, and he knew because they used to handle the snakes. They knew how to handle the poison also. He gave him something very special to drink, which made him very strong and completely protected from any type of poison. So they wanted to kill him, and luckily they made it in such a way. So that is called the luck. The god was thinking in a different way, and this Basuki, he was again related with the Kunti Bhoja. And the Kunti Bhoja, that is the father of the Kunti, and they were related. So obviously he treated him as his grandson, Basuki. His people brought him back, and then his mother and the other brothers, they were worried. After 8 days, Bheema came back and met them. When again they saw that the Bheema is not dead, they became very angry. They planned in a different way again, and this time they wanted to kill all of them. So they planned Jotu Griha. You know that story. And ultimately it was the Bheema. He was so powerful, even when he is bitten by the snake or facing the tiger or animals. And sometimes in the dark, when he used to run, maybe the trees were there, trees used to break because he was so powerful. So it was the Bheema only who could save the mother and the other 4 brothers. He took the mother on his shoulder and then tied the young 2 brothers, Nakula and Sahadeva, in both the side, and then finally took the hand of the Arjuna and Yudhishthira and started running after putting the whole building in fire. And they made a tunnel without no one could understand. They made that tunnel as mainly Bheema alone did that. So he knew how to go where to go, they came over there. But before coming and putting that building into fire, he killed Purochana, the man who was in the main thing they were trying to. So he killed the Purochana over there and came out, Yudhishthira and all that. In the jungle, Bhim killed the cannibal Hidimba. So there is another person who was there. He was a terrible person. He was very fond of eating the human flesh. So the Hidimba. So Hidimba came and he saw so many humans, so he was very happy. So he came to kill them. Instead, Bhima killed him almost in no time, though he was a very powerful man. His sister then offered Bhima that you should marry me. But the Bhima told, no question, I am going to kill you. But somehow the Kunti and Yudhishthira told, you should not kill a lady. That is not the way of the Kshatriyas they do. So, rather, as per the system in those days, if a lady approaching a human, a gentleman, he is supposed to accept her. So the mother told, as per the norm, you are supposed to accept her as your wife. Then Bhima told, as the mother is asking me to do it, I can do it for only up to that period till your son is born. When you will have become a mother, then I will leave you. He did that. And that Bhima's first wife was the Hidimba. Hidimba was the brother, Hidimba. She was the first wife, and their son was Ghatotkacha, and we know how Ghatotkacha helped them in that great war. And he was also very powerful like his father. Bhima's second wife was Draupadi, and their son was Suta Soma. Bhima's third wife was Balandhara, the daughter of king of Kashi. In those days, to develop good relation, they used to marry like this. So the third wife was the daughter of Kashi king. So her name was Balandhara. They had a son named Sarvag. Except Ghatotkacha, all these sons were killed immediately after the war, secretly. So this Sarvaga. Then the fourth wife was Kali, who was the sister of Shalya. In the Mahabharata, the character Shalya was also very famous. This was the Bhima's 4 wives and the 4 sons. And Bhima was very handsome looking again. He was 6 inches taller than the Arjuna. Arjuna was 6 feet. The Bhima was 6.5. And his complexion, as the description it gives, like the melted gold. That was very, very wonderful complexion. His eyes were big and very attractive. We can look at the eyes of Swami Vivekananda, the big and very attractive. Sometimes some people are having the big eyes, but not attractive eyes. But don't look at my eyes, it's very small. Most of the people they call, are you from Nepal? I told Nepal, I am almost near to Nepal. So what to do? And now, so this Bhima's eyes were big and very attractive. The other day one gentleman came, an Afro-American gentleman. He told, I have studied about the Eastern countries. I am sure that you are either from Nepal or from China and all this. I told, no, not like China, but you can think about Nepal. It is close to my birthplace. It's okay. So anyway, so the Bhima, when I was reading about this, the Bhima's eyes were big and attractive. Then I was thinking, why the God has not given that type of eyes to me? His shoulders were very high and very strong. He was very powerful. Hands were long up to the knees and very swift and powerful, both the hands. Many men were strong in those days, but the Bhima was unparalleled. Though muscular, very powerful, but the one thing very special, His whole body was charmingly soft. The appearance was very, sometimes you will see the muscular figure, they are not good looking, though the muscles are there. But Bheema's was not like that. They say Dibyakanti Labannamaya Purusha Simha. About the Bheema, they say Dibyakanti, because of the glow in his body and also the softness, and he was a Purusha Simha. Bheema learned sword and mesh, the Gada, fighting from the Balarama, the elder brother of Krishna. And he also learned the special technique of chariot driving from Balarama. This Dasharatha, that is the name of the Rama's father, as because he could drive his chariot in such a way. It's in those days, those were the teaching, those were the education they used to have. He could drive his chariot in such a way that the people could feel that he is coming from 10 different directions. He was so swift to manipulate the horses and to drive the. So Dasha Ratha. Actually, he used to drive only one Ratha, one chariot, but the way. And Bheema was very, very careful about that. He learned that, but he was very fond of Gada. So he specialized in Gada Yuddha. And specially for him, Bheema, he made two mesh, and it says one is 8 spikes, another is 6 spikes. The Gada not only simple round, the spikes were there. So one he is giving the beating, that is the final. So that way the 8 spikes and 6 spikes, and they were decorated with gold, and in length it was only 3 feet. Here in the Uddok Parva we find the description of the Bheema's mace, Ashtastri Mayasim Ghoram Gadam Kanchana Bhushanam. Kanchana Bhushanam decorated with the gold, but it was Ghora. That was terrible, that mesh. Bheema, he used to, even powerful person like Dhritarashtra was afraid when Bheema became angry. He is ruthless, Dhritarashtra is commenting. He is ruthless and never show forgiveness in war. When he fights like death himself. Dhritarashtra observed it, and he was explaining. In Indraprastha Rajasya Yajna, Krishna advised Yudhishthira to defeat Jarasandha. He was the king of Patna, Magadha. To perform this Jarasandha, to perform the Pashupata Yajna, that was in those days that was all to show the power. To sacrifice 100 kings at one time, to show that I am powerful more than 100 kings. So Jarasandha defeated 86 kings, and he was keeping them in prison and was waiting for another 14. So that time Krishna told, if we go and defeat Jarasandha, all over India the message will go, he is a politician. If we can defeat Jarasandha, all over India the message will go that we are powerful, and at the same time we are kind, not like Jarasandha. So that will earn a very good friendship with all these people. Now naturally Yudhishthira, he said, oh no, it is not really good, because Jarasandha is the person, he defeated you, O Krishna. So it is not good for us to go over there to defeat him. Then the Bheema said, Krishne Nayo Mai Balam and Parthe Jaya Parthe Dhananjaya. If the intellect of Krishna, Krishne Nayo, my Balam and my power and technique of Arjuna will bring the success. So don't be afraid. So all the three of them, they went and they challenged the Jarasandha. See, from here we get some of the social condition. when they went over there, that was the kingdom of Jarasandha. And then they went and met Jarasandha and challenged him over there. Jarasandha could naturally ask all his soldiers to fight with them and capture them. He didn't do that. So from these small things we can understand how the society was. If a person coming and challenging me, I am supposed to fight, not using my soldiers. In the big war, when it is declared war, all my soldiers will also fight, but this is a personal challenge, so dwell. Then what to do? Krishna was there, Arjuna was there, and Bheema. Now look at the Jarasandha. He looked at these three and said, I like to fight with Bheema. Why? He knew that he is going to be defeated. He understood that. Either with Krishna or Arjuna and the Bheema. But he said, Bheema, yotsase taya sardam sreyasa nirjitam param. In the Shabha Parva, this they are mentioning, Jarasandha is telling, Bheema, I will fight with you. Why? Because it is honorable to be defeated in the hands of a hero. He never counted Krishna because he defeated Krishna many times, Jarasandha. And he never wanted to fight with Arjuna because Arjuna would have fight with the bow and arrow. So that was not the showing of the physical power. So he chose Bheema, and it was a wrong choice. Though he said, even if I die at your hand, that will be more honorable. The Bheema, of course, killed him. And afterwards, when he gave the war cry, the Bheema, the majority of the time when, if you look at the training, in the army training, when their enemies are very close, it is not the weapon, it is the cry, war cry. If you can shout in such a way, the army or the enemies will be terrified. And that is the moment you have to charge them. So that is all these trainings when you were in colleges, so you used to learn this type of, this is called NCC training. They used to tell that when you are close to the enemy, before going, you have to give a war cry. And different war cries are there. And this Bheema, when he gave his war cry, all people around, they were terrified, even including the animals. The death of Jarasandha paved the path of success in Yudhishthira's Rajasuya Yajna. So all these people, the brothers, they went out, nobody fought with them. Because they knew a person who can kill Jarasandha, fighting with him, it will be very foolishness. The Bheema collected taxes from all the states, including the eastern India, that is Tamralipta. Tamralipta, present day Tamluk. It is in West Bengal, small the district. But Tamralipta that time was a very famous port city and very rich, that eastern part. Bheema went over there and collected the taxes. Yudhishthira was defeated in dice game, and at the behest of Karna, Dushasana tried to insult Draupadi. In the king's court, everyone was silent, but the Bheema, with firm conviction, took an oath, and he said, O kings and the Kshatriyas, please listen to me, and this is my promise, which no one did in the past, and no one will be doing it in the future. I will kill this Sena Dushashan, and I will drink his heart's blood. This was he promised. Afterwards, the mother of Dushasana, Duryodhana, so she told, how could you, being a human, could drink the blood of your brother? Then the Bheema told, Mother, I didn't drink the blood. I only touched that blood and kept it on my lip, just to keep the promise. But when he was behaving so rudely, you didn't protect, you didn't stop. Why? Now you are complaining. So that was the Bheema. We'll come to that afterwards. So terribly angry Bhima when stood up and shouted that I could kill these Kauravas here and now if I had the permission of my elder brother, who is our leader. He is our master. I cannot break the rule, because in those days, see, look at it, how much control. He was so angry and he was capable. But without the permission of the leader, he did nothing. There's so much of mental control. When the Bhima was shouting like that, Bhishma, Drona, they immediately said, Shamatam idam iti evam sarvam sambhavyate tui. In the Shabha Parva, the Bhishma and Drona, they declared, Shamatam idam iti sarvam sambhavyate tui. Forgive them, O Bhima. Everything is possible for you. They were accepting this challenge. The Bhima told, I like to kill all of them all alone. Their Karna was there, and all the 100 brothers were there. Others were also there. But here the Bhishma said, it is possible for him to kill all of them here and now. But then he said, forgive them. Vidura, he commented, friends, I am afraid to look at Bhima. Param bhayam pashyata Bhimasenat. So we can understand, we can imagine when Bhima is to become angry, how he used to look. Even a quiet, composed person like Vidura, he said, I am so afraid to look at him. So that was the Bhima. In jungle, many times, he insisted the Yudhishthira to break his promise. The Kshatriya, we will fight and get our property. Why you are going on keeping the promise? And then he suggested, rather, after 13 months, let us start the fight. So 13 years you are supposed to, the 13 years is a long time. Let us start the fight in 13 months, after 13 months. And in Gandhamadan mountain, when they were there, Bhima met his brother Mahavira Hanumana. See, if we read this story, we find how the things are happening. Yudhishthira, he is Thira in Juda. That means he was very quiet, very intellectual, but never disturbed with all the situation. That is the Yudhishthira. When everybody was insisting, let us go and fight, he was waiting. Why? Because he knew the good time will come. The good time, the Mahavira Hanuman was there in the Gandhamadan hill. And Bhima, as his nature, he was roaming here and there. Then he saw a old monkey was lying at the one side of the road and his tail crossing the road. You are not supposed to cross the body of any being. So the Bhima told, please take your the tail to that side. I like to go. Then he said, I am very old and having no power. I cannot drag my tail. Can you please lift it? And Bhima tried. This is a very famous story. And Bhima tried his best, but he could not lift the tail. Then you are not an ordinary monkey. Who are you? Then he saw that Hanumana, and he said, I am also the son of the Vayu, so that way you are my brother. I will help you. When the great war will break, I will come and I will sit on the top of the Arjuna's chariot. And I will give the war cry in such a way, wherever the Arjuna will go, at least 100 that meter, the enemies will be fainted. So that help I will do. Hanumana was there on the top of Arjuna's chariot. In the Badrika Ashram, a demon Jatashura, when the Bhima was not nearby, and Arjuna went to heaven, to that Indraprastha, to collect some the weapons. Before the war, naturally, they go to different countries to develop the friendship and to collect the different type of weapons. The Arjuna went to their king, gods, to collect the weapon. God means another type of people. And Bheema was there protecting his mother and other brothers. When Bheema went out somewhere, the Jatasura came, and along with the Draupadi and other brothers, they took him and they were going away. Arjuna was in Devaloka. Bheema was not there, but luckily Bheema was coming back when he saw this man is holding and taking them as the prisoners. Bheema naturally came and killed the Jatasura, and unfortunately this Jatasura was a very close relative of Hidimba. And Bheema also killed, at the request of his mother Kunti, another person whose name was Baka Rakshasa. And he used to eat one human being every day from one houses. They were staying in a Brahmana's house. You know the story, the whole 5 brothers and the mother. And then that day, that whole family was crying. The Kunti asked, what is the reason? He said, today I have to go as a food to that Bakasura, as a system. In this village, now it is my turn. Then the Kunti told him not to bother. You have given us the shelter, it is our duty to protect you. My son will go. Oh, no, why should you kill your son? You don't know my son. You don't so you need not to bother about it. Being a mother, I am asking my son, so you can understand that I am confident. Nothing will happen to Bheema. Rather, by killing this bad person, we can save this whole locality. Bheema went and took all the food that he collected in his dinner, and Bakasura collected lot of food, and he was waiting for a human being, so that at the end he will eat the human being. As a human being, the Bheema came, and he was always hungry. Bheema was when he saw the good food, he started eating. The Bakasura was, hey, who are you? I am supposed to eat you, and you are eating my food. He said, don't disturb me. Let me complete, and then so like that conversation. Then afterwards, as because Bakasura hit him from the back, and the Bheema became very angry. So he tore his head, and then killed him. So that way, Bheema was always very, very successful everywhere. Only 2 places he was defeated. One is this, in the time of when he made our Mahavira, and second time in the Himalaya, when the Bheema was moving, a huge snake, he coiled him. And Bheema, naturally he was thinking, is nothing going to happen to me. But then afterwards he understood that this is not ordinary snake. Then he told the snake, it is not possible that any snake can bind me like this. I am protected against all the poison, but who are you? Then he said, I am Nahusha. You know another story of Nahusha. Nahusha was the great king, and then he was so righteous person that he was given the position of the king of gods, that is Devaraj Indra. So this type of incidents that proves these gods means respectable people. They are not the gods that we think about. That it's not like that. They were also a group of people, but really respectable people. They were very advanced type of people, so other people used to call them gods. So Indra was the king of those people, but he did some mistake. So they were thinking whom to make the king. So they made the Nahusha. And Nahusha, without knowing who the Agastya Muni was, he insulted him. And I think that when he was going in a palanquin, his feet touched the body of the Agastya Muni. Agastya Muni cursed him that you will become like a snake, and you have to live over there till the Yudhishthira comes over there. Yudhishthira is the only person who can save you. So I am holding you, O Bheema. I am sure after some time Yudhishthira will come to search you, and I will get mukti from this. Yudhishthira came, and because of his presence and his prayer, Nahusha got back his old form. In the Dvaitavana again, the queen Draupadi was abducted by the Jayadratha. This Jayadratha, we know, he killed Arjuna's son, the Abhimanyu. So this is the Jayadratha. So he came over there, he was trying to take away the Draupadi, and that's why, because of the Draupadi, all problem. So Pati Nari Vivarjita, they say in Sanskrit, when you are traveling, you should not go with any lady, because all problem comes with that. So Pati Nari Vivarjita. Because of that, in those days, the protection was, you have to fight and you have to do, there's no policing or that way anything. Only the kings were protected with some of the soldiers. So this is, the Draupadi was abducted by the Jayadratha. Bheema went and defeated Jayadratha, brought him over there, he shaved his head and he wanted to kill him. Again Yudhishthira said, no, it is all right, don't kill him. He didn't do anything wrong, he only tried to touch her, that's okay. The beating and all this insult is sufficient. So, because of the Yudhishthira, again Jayadratha saved his life, but this is the Jayadratha who created a lot of problem afterwards. Now time is up, and I just end up in this way. After the long 13 years living in the forest and 1 year in incognito, these Pandavas, they came back. But in between, one thing happened. There is a very important incident that happened. That is the Kichak Badha, that you know, that Kichak was the army chief of the Virat king. And he was also related. He was the brother-in-law of the king, his wife's brother. This Kichak, he gave a bad proposal to the Draupadi, and there was no one to protect the Draupadi. The Draupadi then went to Bheema. The Bheema was a very good cook, so he was, as a cook, he was cooking. So she went and told Bheema, this is the problem. He knew that Arjuna or Yudhishthira, no one will be able to. Kichaka was very powerful. The Bheema told, you need not to worry. And they planned in such a way, Kichaka alone came to meet the Draupadi, and Bheema was there, Bheema killed him. Next day, the Kichaka's brothers and the followers, the Kichaka was having a big group. So they came and told, as because Kichaka was killed by someone unknown, for this lady, so this lady also died along with Kichaka. So with the dead body, they tied the Kichak's dead body, they tied the Draupadi also, and they wanted to burn Draupadi alive. And then Draupadi was crying, taking the name of her husbands and all these different names. And here we find she was telling again and again, the Bheema, please come and save me. When they took to the ground, the 105, the Kichaka's follower, they were there, and before putting the dead body and the Draupadi into fire, Bheema appeared and killed them all, and that was the end of the day. So there was naturally there was no problem. But after this, every time we see Bheema is constantly killing people and eager to fight. This Bheema, when after 13 years, this is very important point to note, when the Krishna was going as a messenger to the court of the Duryodhana to tell, give back the half kingdom, and all that has happened, everything is over now, you promised to give it back. Then he was asking that to different people, to all the brothers. Krishna was asking different brothers, so what is their opinion? And then everyone was telling different type of opinions. Here the Bheema said, in 69 chapter of the Udyoga Parva, in 23 verses, he talked about the peace. Oh Krishna, peace is the only thing that the human being should have. And if we can somehow get this peace by getting our property, we should not try to fight with them. Whereas, when Krishna was asking this, our other two brothers, this Nakula and Sahadeva, the Sahadeva told, even if they are trying to develop peace, don't listen to it. We like to fight. Sahadeva told. Many people clapped after listening to it because they wanted to have the war. But Bheema, who was most powerful and whom the Yudhishthira told, if there is a war, I am depending on you. That Bheema, in 23 verses, he was trying to convince the Krishna, war is not the solution. By killing, getting the property is not the solution. I am not in favor of it. Try your best so that you can convince. And one sentence he said, he is very cunning, an egoistic person, Duryodhana. Handle him properly. So this is the special that we find. Karna, who was being defeated by Bheema many times, but Bheema didn't kill him. The Karna mentioned about Bheema is a great in manners and he is great in strength. He is more powerful than one can think about him. By saying he is more powerful, that was the Karna. Dhritarashtra, he said, not a single person is there in our camp comparing to Bheema. As the ordinary animals are afraid of lion, I am feeling like that. When the Bheema comes, he kills everyone like a lion. It is Dhritarashtra, who was himself a very powerful person. And he is telling, when I think about Bheema, he is equal to Drona in fight. Swift like air, angry like fire, and his voice terrified people as if they hear the sound of death. He is capable to kill all my 100 sons all alone. So that was the Dhritarashtra. Bheema truly did that on the 17th day of the war. He killed majority of the sons of the Dhritarashtra. On the 17th day, he killed Dushashan, tore his chest, and kept his promise. He also killed, as promised, Duryodhana by breaking his thigh. After the great war, when the Bheema met Gandhari, and to console her he said, Mother, it is true that I have broken the thigh of Duryodhana, which is not allowed in mass war. But you have protected him with your blessings all over the body. You know that story. The mother and the Gandhari was having some miraculous power. And he used to love the Duryodhana, though he was very bad. So even then, ultimately she said, you come to me without any clothes and stand before me. Let me see you. Because she was having that miraculous power to protect the whole body so that no weapon can touch. When the Duryodhana was coming, Krishna, he told, hey, this is not good to go like this, totally. So you cover at least this portion, wrist portion. So Duryodhana wore a short pant and came to before the mother. When the mother opened that cover from her eyes, she saw the Duryodhana like that. She said, oh my son, you made a mistake. Krishna knew it. So when they were which Krishna did. So when they were having the fight, and it was impossible for Bheema to hurt the Duryodhana, then the Krishna told Arjuna, he won't be able to hurt Duryodhana in any part of the body except the thigh. That was covered and her mother could not see that part. Ask him to break that particular portion. and then that was. But as a system, below the West, you are not supposed to hit. So Balaram, who was the teacher of both these, he was waiting over there. And when he saw that he killed him this way, or the Bheema, he was very angry. Krishna told, this is war, my brother. This is not a competition or game. So, this is, remember how this person created all this problem. Thousands of people have been killed. Almost the whole India is now empty with the heroes. So you should not interfere. Balaram became angry and left that place. So that was now the Bheema was telling to the mother, you protected her. And that means you were supporting his all bad, you protected him, the Duryodhana, that you were also indirectly supporting him. So naturally in the war I had to take that. Today you are angry with us, but when your sons were traveling us again and again, you did not stop them. Bheema was very clear. Dhritarashtra wanted to embrace Bheema, and Krishna immediately understood. And in that palace there was an iron statue of Bheema. The Duryodhana, imagining that he is hitting the Bheema, he used to practice his gada on that iron image. Immediately Krishna brought that one and placed before the Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra was having tremendous power. He embraced. All through his life, he showed that whatever he said, he never behaved like that. He was a cunning type of person. And he suffered for that. And this time also, as if he is going to embrace the Bheema, he embraced that iron image and broke it. So think about, if the Bheema originally was there, Krishna again saved Bheema. Having the death of Kunti, this Bheema was so powerful, cried like a young boy, very loudly for a long time. He cried because my mother, and when he fell a few steps before the door of the heaven, he asked Yudhishthira, what was my fault that I could not reach to the door? Then the Yudhishthira told, you were very, very egoistic about your physical power. And you never thought that there may be someone else above you. So because of that ego. Now friends, this is the characters of the Mahabharata, and they were really wonderful. And they were having, each and every one is special. But one thing we always find, that if we have the ego, you are going to be crushed the last time. That is the teaching, the whole Mahabharata. Each and every one, in different places, in different way, they are showing their egos. That's why they had to suffer, except Yudhishthira. So many people, they used to criticize Yudhishthira. Sometimes even Bheema told, I like to burn your hand. And even he was asking Sahadeva. Sahadeva was his follower. Sahadeva, go and bring fire. I like to burn his hand. Because why wrongly he threw the dices? And that is the creating problem. He was so angry. Arjuna sometimes used to come and embrace him to calm him down. He used to love Arjuna, though Arjuna was junior. But when Arjuna used to say anything, Bheema used to listen. Only two persons used to listen, Yudhishthira and Arjuna. Sometimes he was angry with Yudhishthira because Yudhishthira was the leader. He was taking the decision. But Yudhishthira was far-sighted, very far-sighted person. So he knew what is going to happen afterwards. And that's why his behavior was just like a rishi. The rishis never react. Why? Because they can see what is going to happen, what will happen in the future. So that is the reason. Thank you. And the next class will be the conclusion of the Mahabharata by discussing about the three great queens of Mahabharata. Om Shanti, 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 Hari Om. Friends, today we won't have this question answer session because we are already late. And I will go to Chicago University. They have invited me to attend the Durga Puja. The students are having the Durga Puja there. So I will go into that at 3 o'clock, so not much time left. Thank you very much.